Hey, welcome back into today's video. We're going to be talking about YouTuber Repzion. And I know I've been away for about 8 days. It's the longest time I've spent off of YouTube, but we'll talk more about that a little later in the video. Apparently, Repzion has had some things happen to him that are just, they're horrible, but it appears that Onision has probably done a pretty decent thing. Let's talk about that today in Exploring YouTubers. If you're unfamiliar, Repzion is a YouTuber with over 600 million subscribers, and he recently released a video about a week ago saying, I thought it couldn't get any worse. In this video, he talks about an ex-friend betraying him, and in the video, he actually talks about several things that he's been subjected to during his time on the platform.
I've been on this platform for almost a decade, and during my decade on this platform, a lot of stuff has occurred and happened that I haven't really talked about. And this is in regards to being a YouTuber, in regards to some of the things that you have to deal with, including what I'm dealing with IRL right now this last week.
He goes on to talk about an ex-friend withholding a picture of his deceased grandfather to use against him. And it's horrible. It's one of the worst things I've ever heard of. I do want to give my support to Repzion and let him know that he has the full support of the Rep Squad. Mr. Repzion goes on to reveal that his ex-friend, who is identified as Phoenix in a later released follow-up video, which I'll put in the description below, kind of stacked on false narratives to try to make the situation seem worse.
These people are somebody who, they take something that's truthful, right, and they tell you, but then with that truth they stack on a bunch of different small lies. So you have truth at the bottom, and then you stack all the way to this top with all these little exaggerative, crazy assumptions, crazy rumors, crazy gossips, lies on top of the truth. So the truth is really the truth fairy at the bottom, but it's all convoluted and twisted and confusing because they throw all the stuff that didn't happen into the truth. Does that make sense?
Now, obviously, this made things worse, and to add insult to injury, Phoenix goes on to share screenshots of Mr. Repzion in a vulnerable state to about 30 plus people in a Skype call.
But what this ex-friend did is that he took the conversation of me vocalizing that I was feeling like I was going to relapse and that I wanted to check myself into a mental health facility and call my mother because I needed some help, because I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to do anything to jeopardize, 9 years being clean. And what does this individual do? But here's the really confusing part. This ex-friend of mine literally had been sitting on this information for months.
Now, not only did this ex-friend do this, but he did it during a time that most benefited him.
They only came to me and told me this stuff when it benefited them and took focus off of their own relationship and own issues that they were dealing with within his and her relationship. So this truth bomb that they dropped on me, right? They never said anything for months upon months upon months, but only when issues start going down in their own relationship and they don't want people focusing on their relationship, they drop me this partial truth bomb, and then when I find out part of it to be true and I start processing it, I'm like, man, I need help because I don't want to hurt myself because this is really horrible stuff.
And then Mr. Repzion goes on to do what pretty much I believe most of us would have done and blocked said person. Now, some things are revealed that he does a follow-up video on that kind of add context to this first part. It is about to get crazy.
And then when I find this out, I block you. I block him and I block his girlfriend. Because I also found out that these same people that had information that they never told me and claimed to be my friends for the last year, they were also sitting on a photo of my dead grandpa. So when they found out that I blocked both of them and I told them I don't want anything to do with them anymore, he then contacts me on Instagram, then you block me, real smart, ... Anyway, so screwed up on many different levels. You didn't appreciate anything I told you. And then I proceed to say, I'm dealing with this in the best way possible for my mental health, which has taken from a turn from the worse. This is about me, not Maya. What I do know is that you shared conversations between you and me privately about me wanting to check myself into a mental health facility. That enough is a reason to block you. I want nothing to do with you. I'm a very private person, and you exploited that on Skype to a group of people without my permission. My trust with you has been fully broken.
Now I fully believe that Repzion did the right thing. I would have blocked the person too. Let me know if you would have blocked the person in the comment section below. But the thing about it is like, they held on to this information for months without end and didn't say anything. Real friends don't do that. And what's revealed later on adds a lot of insult to the injury. And I can't believe that there's people out there that would do this type of thing to someone. But it just goes to show you got to be careful who you trust. So as you can see in the first part, he says, then you blocked me real smart. That to me, it sounds a little bit like a threat. Then Phoenix, the ex-friend, goes on to do something that the intent cannot be seen as any other way. He clearly wants to hurt Mr. Repzion in the worst type of way that he can think of. So he compiles an email and sends it to Mr. Repzion's worst enemy, and we know that's Onision. And I'm sure that you can guess what happened next, but you'd most likely be wrong.
And then when you find out that I blocked you and your girlfriend, you then compile an email and send it to Onision, a photo of my dead grandpa. You know, the great thing is, this actually backfired on you, because Onision sent me an email and he linked me exactly what was sent to him by you two. Imagine a day and age where Onision sends me an email and it's so screwed up that even he won't cover it. You knowingly had a photo of my grandpa dead with a brain aneurysm with blood down his face for months, and yet you never proceeded to tell me who you got that photo from. I mean, I know who you got the photo from, but the fact is you sat on that photo waiting to use it against me for no reason. And you tried to use it against me to hurt me.
So Onision actually did a good thing. He helped Mr. Repzion expose the exposers, having this whole situation backfire on the ex-friend Phoenix and his girlfriend Lauren. It turns out that Lauren has taken blame for all of this, saying that the whole scheme was her idea. This prompted Mr. Repzion to make a follow-up video called A Message to Lauren. In this video, Mr. Repzion asks Onision if he could forward him the full context of the email sent to him, to which he agrees.
Last week I told you that somebody sent Onision an email with photos of me expressing that I was going to check myself into a mental health facility, I was very close to relapsing, and sent him a photo of my deceased grandpa on a table with a brain aneurysm. I asked him, would you share with me the original email and the screenshot sent to you by this girl? I will forward you all I have.
Now this is crazy to me because Mr. Repzion is telling someone that he believed was his friend that he was in a very vulnerable state and that he was on the verge of relapsing to self-harm. Now this bothers me because them knowing that and then still going forward to do that to hurt Mr. Repzion, that's pretty crazy. And it seems like in the email that I'm fixing to show you that Onision originally ignored it and just really didn't care. He acted like he wanted no involvement in this plot.
Forwarded message from Lauren, I'm not going to say the full email for privacy's sake, date August 20th, 2019, and take a look at this. This is titled Important Information on Repzion.
The reason the title, it's important information on Repzion, is so important is because Lauren tried to say that the whole situation was not about Repzion at all and was placing blame on Repzion's girlfriend Maya. If that's the case, then why would she make an email and saying important information on Repzion? That seems like maybe he is the topic.
Not sure if this means you want to know what I have to say or not, but here's a picture of us living up in Florida just 2 weeks ago. You can see Repzion and Maya in the back. I know a lot about Daniel and Maya, some disgusting and horrible stuff, and the proof to back it. Again, all I ask is that you don't mention my name. Onision replies with a weird one-word response, awkward. She then follows up with another email. Hello, I used to be a friend of Repzion and his girlfriend Maya. I have a lot of juicy information on both of them, some of it involving you. I would be willing to tell you all that I know on them as long as I stay anonymous. Thanks, Ren.
So the big expose is exposed, but the especially disgusting thing about this is that the things that she was trying to get Onision to expose were just of Mr. Repzion talking about a relapse to self-harm in pictures of his deceased grandfather. let's keep that in mind. Mr. Repzion goes on to find out that Lauren sent a full pastebin, which is something similar to a Google Drive, to Onision.
She then sends a pastebin link of a bunch of things, but most notably the biggest thing of a photo of my deceased grandpa, combined with a personal private conversation that I had with her boyfriend, expressing that I was on the verge of relapsing and that I needed to check myself into a mental health facility.
The thing that blows my mind is that this girl, Lauren, gets extremely upset with Onision for showing Mr. Repzion all this information, to the point where she threatens Onision, that's right, with a lawyer.
Yesterday, Lauren threatened Onision. I'm dead serious. She says, and I quote, "My lawyers will be in contact with you." Lauren is really, really, really upset that Onision shared with me something so screwed up that even he wouldn't talk about or try to expose me with.
But to make things a little bit more creepier is Mr. Repzion's a very personal, a private person. And I completely understand that. I myself am extremely private. I don't have much contact with anyone else other than you guys. But it turns out that this girl sent him a text message on his personal number.
My video last week that I published, within 20 minutes of that video going live, she texted my personal phone number, something that I never gave to her at any point. I only have about 8 contacts on my phone as a whole, so somebody getting hold of my phone number, much less texting my personal phone number, was really creepy and kind of scary.
So basically this text message was a desperate attempt to make seem like what they did wasn't a horrible thing, which Mr. Repzion goes on to debunk each part of this, so I definitely suggest you guys checking this out. The thing that gets me is in the beginning it says people are making death threats to Phoenix now because of the video. It seems a little backwards because they're trying to make it seem like Mr. Repzion did a bad thing, but despite what they did, I'm interested to know what you guys think about this. So as interesting as it says, there's always something that's more interesting to me. That's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think. So just go ahead and leave your creative and interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those likes. And as always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. So this is my first video at my new place. I am going to do a room tour, or a house tour. It's a lot better of an environment. I'm filming it now at about 9 p.m. EST. It's a little weird being gone for 8 days. Now, it was unintentional. Like, we had all this set up in advance. I had the internet providers ready to go, and they sort of didn't do their job. So we ended up going with a completely different provider, one that's better, actually. We get 1 gig up, 1 gig down here, and we've moved to the city. So IRL streams are going to come back every weekend, so look forward to that. And I hope this video wasn't that bad, because I feel like awkward in front of the camera again, so I got to get back into my groove. And I'm going back to daily uploads, so that's also very interesting. But it's good to be back, and I hope you like the setup. I think I might still put some Christmas lights up in the back. I'm considering putting up Halloween decorations. Let me know if you think that's something I should do. Also, a lot of things have changed, and I figured I would do another Q&A, so I'm going to be doing that on Instagram. So head over to Instagram and ask me some questions. We're currently at 10,000. I'm going to try to get to 15,000 before I release the Q&A, and it's also a good way to get to know me better over there. And I know that you're repping, if you're not repping, you're Greg. How do you do that? All you gotta do is subscribe, notifications turn on, be in the comment section to every single video, because I'm gonna be there. Greg the cat's gonna be there, and the rest of the Repzilla community as well. And I expect to see you there too, because this channel loves you. I am super out of practice, but it's good to be back.